Those punches are going to hurt a little more when they land.
Wow! Oh! Are you ready for the Instigators hockey show? I'm Paulie D. He's Chris Katsopoulos. I always get that one mixed up. We got a cold beer. I hope you do too. I just want you to know that I got a email not too long ago about our show. It's actually carrying along pretty good, but we've been rated PG now. PG
parental guidance for you that don't understand that.
For audiences 14 and older. It is what it is, and that's it. So I hope that clip went. I hope that went well. We got a couple of features this year we're gonna play with. We're gonna introduce video this year. Tati and I will be working on that. We'll have some guests this year, and just a different element of the show and some fun stuff. If you've been a fan of the show, if you watch the show, you know how crazy it can get. We take a lot of topics and we have a lot of fun.
By the way, that's not a halo above my head here in the background. That's the TV in the background. It's got the Buffalo Sabre Tampa Bay game on. So just letting you know, I'm no angel. Uh-oh.
The red light's on.
See, I'm old. I'll call that red light Messina to all you veteran Ranger fans out there. Messina, red light Messina, good guy.
Yeah. He passed away, right?
I'm not positive on that one. I think he might have. Yes, I remember doing the radio when he was doing the radio. I did a couple of interviews when I was a New York Ranger, and then he had me on one time when I was a Toronto Maple Leaf. Believe it or not, visiting the Garden. So, good man.
Well, I can't seem to get my monitor up and running for a couple of things. We're going to try to watch some of the other scores.
That's your department.
Yeah, I want to say welcome to everyone who is new. I want to say always a great thank you to Beth. She does so much for me behind the scenes with advertising and marketing and the whole 9 yards, and she's pretty awesome. So thank you, Beth, for everything.
Sure she is. I got in touch with her today. Had her post something for us because, me being the old guy here, not really hip with the electronic stuff, but she did a great job, and I copied and pasted it and added my own little few words.
Yeah.
Beth, you're wonderful.
She makes it easy for both of us.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, Barry, I'm still alive.
Oh, I didn't even open the chat room. Were you in the chats already? Look at
I
that.
am in the same spot, Barry. It's in the same spot whether you like it or not. Things haven't changed.
Look at that guy right there. Look at that guy.
Hey, it's always nice to be second best to Mark Messier. Little do people know that him and I did fight, when I was a New York Ranger and he was an Edmonton Oiler. We did have a little scrap behind that. We had a little scrap behind the net.
I didn't see that. I gotta see that. All right. I don't even know where to start. It's been so long.
I think I know where we should start.
Oh, you want me to start with the hot? You want me to get hot?
Well, yeah, we can't let it go. It's been about a month since this took place. So this being our first show, might be time. There you go. It's time for Paulie to start it. There, he's got the red light going. You lead, and I'll add.
All right. So everyone loves when I get fired up. So we're gonna start the day with a Paulie D rant on the Instigators hockey show. This guy, Biz Shitstain, I've challenged him many times. The guy has no courage. He's a fucking pussy. He's a piece of shit. He is, as a Ranger fan, I will tell you, try to call me a Faguzzi's to my face. I'll knock your fucking teeth down your throat. The guy is just a piece of shit. But what hurts my feelings and what fires me up is how this fucking pussy can sit on a panel with classic New York Rangers that have given their heart and soul to that team. Henrik Lundqvist, Mark Messier, and Wayne Gretzky. And this fucking pussy who had a cup of coffee in the NHL and did nothing but get splinters in his ass and get his fucking ass kicked by most of the people who fought him. He's a shit-talking piece of garbage, and I'm tired of it. And you as Ranger fans should bombard him at every possibility that you can. The guy's a turkey, okay? He calls you fakes, frauds, fagoozies. He said shit about the franchise. He said shit about the players, the current players. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than this guy, he's looking for ratings, but he needs a fucking good ass kicking is what he needs. That's what I got. Cots, don't you got a couple of things? Don't you got a couple of quotes from that fucking pussy?
Well, yeah, he called the players frauds, okay? And his little whatever that show is called, spitting
cock, because he's a fucking
whatever it is, and he called the players frauds. He called the organization frauds. He called the fans frauds. He basically, he called them fucking fugazis. That's basically what he called them altogether, and claimed that they will not make the playoffs, and that, Dolan's going to have Jimmy Dolan, the owner's going to have a meltdown and all this shit. Now listen, it's possible he'll be right. Okay, it's possible, right? But unlikely in my opinion. The thing I don't like about it, this is not one time he's done this. This is his second time in a row that he's pissed, basically piss netty or nutball or whatever you want to call him, has shit on the Rangers. Okay, and I wonder if the NHL takes note of this, that this is a guy that they allowed to be on TNT that's supposed to promote the league. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, they're biz or whatever it is. You're on your own show. You're allowed to do what you want to do. But you know what? When you're on a national broadcast, people are going to look at you as the asshole that said this shit. Okay? Especially Ranger fans and Ranger people. Whoever hit him in the face with a frying pan needs to be found. Okay? Needs to be found again, because when you look at him, he looks like he's a cartoon character. Like the frying pan face slammed him. You know what I mean? So whoever hit him with that frying pan many, many years ago, please show up again, because I think he needs it again.
He needs a good bonk in his face. Frying pan face.
I'll give them credit. Him and Ryan Whitney was a former first-round pick of Pittsburgh Penguins. They come up with their show, and they beat everybody to the punch on all this podcasting world today. And they came up with a drink. Boy, do I want one of those, a Pink Whitney. Can I have a straw with that, people? You know what I mean? Right. I mean, I get all that. I get it. I understand it. But I just don't understand this guy's thinking. But you know what? It's his show. He can say what he wants. And this is our show. We can fucking drill him for all we want.
Exactly.
How's that?
Fuck that guy. He's a jerk off.
I agree. I got, and you said it best, Paulie. You got guys like Wayne Gretzky on that panel. You got Henrik Lundqvist once in a while, and I would sure like to know what they really think deep down, but I'm sure you're never going to hear it on a national broadcast.
Well, it pisses me off, because I got to be honest with you. I mean, fuck. We've been doing this a while, right? We're both, you're a former player. I'm a third-generation Ranger fans. Listen, it's one thing you want to talk about the team on a sports level and say, I don't think the franchise is ready, things like that. Hey, listen, your analysis is one thing, but would you get on your show and you call the fans fagoozies? I'd love to see 18,000 Ranger fans up your ass, pal, and watch you run like a fucking chicken piece of shit that you are, okay? You talk a big fucking game, I'd love to see it, okay? Not on skates. I'd love to get you in the fucking street. Knock your teeth down your goddamn throat, because I think you're a pussy. How about
my boy Paulie right there?
I think you're a fucking pussy. I challenge you anywhere, anytime, any street, you name it, you fucking queer. So go fuck yourself. Right? Now,
All right.
that.
That's that for now. You know what? You know what? Unless something else comes up with this clown,
If he don't get another
let's
second,
try not to do anything with this clown ever again.
he doesn't get another second. Okay? Other than right here, I can't wait to knock his teeth out. All right. Moving on, and hopefully I'll be in New York City very soon. I'll meet you anytime. All right. With that being said, let's move on to some other things that are more exciting and that have much more precedence. Cots, this year there's a lot of momentum around a lot of teams that have been building for a long period of time, or at least franchises that have very big names, very big banks, with the potential of bringing it home. What happened last year with Boston was, unbelievable. Best team in the world, and they get knocked out, right? This year, you got to talk about one of them is the New York Rangers. Another one that's supposed to be making it, that the time the clock is running on is one of your hometown team, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yep.
This is a team that has all the pressure in the world. And I got to tell you, I love you, Ryan Reeves. I really wish you'd kill that guy. But anyway, I just think that, the pressure on the Toronto Maple Leafs to get it done now. And then look around. You look around, the up-and-coming New Jersey Devils. The Islanders are no slouch. You can never count the Penguins out. I mean, the Hurricanes are another team now that have been building and building and building and building. A lot to be said there. So there's a lot going on, especially in the Metro, in the east side of the game. A lot of momentum build up, and a lot, you talk about Connor McDavid, you talk about the Oilers. There's so many teams that have been working towards getting to this plateau, to this area where it's given, it's put up or shut up time.
It's Stanley Cup or bust.
Yeah.
That's what it is for a lot of them that you just mentioned. I'm going to start off, obviously, to my Toronto fans and people that remember me playing for the Leafs, which I appreciated, playing those 4 years there. I think the Leafs are definitely going to, in my opinion, going to be one of the top 4 or 5 teams right now that are in that mix for a Stanley Cup. I think the addition of Ryan Reeves has already shown, even though they didn't look good last night against Chicago, but that's another story. We're going to be talking about Chicago a little while.
Right.
Ryan Reeves has added a little something there that I thought maybe Wayne Simmons would have added a few years ago. You know what I mean? But I actually saw Austin Matthews jump into a skirmish the other night in a hockey game, that not last night's game, but a game before, where, he would never done that years ago. You know what I mean? Or a year ago. And I think the addition of Ryan Reeves has made these guys feel a little bit more abrasive out there about mucking it up a little bit. And that's been their biggest downfall point. The talent has always been there. Okay? Yeah. Goaltending has been up and down, kind of suspect. The only negative I'm going to give about the Leafs right now is I'm still not convinced of their defense. I'm beginning to wonder about Morgan Riley, like the adulation and applause that he gets. I'm not so sure he deserves it anymore. I've watched him real close, and I think he gets paid a lot of money and not really, pulling his weight out there. But they have a few other guys. They signed Klingberg. He's not a bad addition. But I think overall, that if anything that ails the Leafs, it's still the defensive side of the game. The offensive side of the game is going to be there. Matthews, 6 goals in his first 2 games.
Right.
He had 9 chances last night against Chicago, so he could have had 1 or 2 more. But I think the Leafs are going to be one of those for real teams. But, the other teams you mentioned, I want to get this straight. Rangers showed it last night, okay? Even though I thought they played a great game, and we'll get into the Rangers later, but I got to bring it out right away. There's no gimmies anymore in the NHL.
Right.
The Arizona Coyotes last night showed me that when they beat the Devils 2 nights ago, or a night before they played the Rangers. And then last night could have easily won that game too last night if not for Shesterkin. Okay?
Yeah.
But the Rangers did what they had to do. Same thing when the Rangers went into Columbus. Yeah, a couple of really shitty plays there where, the replay took 2 goals away from the Rangers, but there's no gimmies anymore. You got to be prepared to play every night. All the dregs of the league in the last couple of years are not dregs anymore.
Yeah.
Watch out for the Detroit Red Wings this year too.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Edmonton, until they convince me that they can play defense in a goaltending situation gets better, I'm not convinced of them. They can score all the points they want. They've been doing it for the last 8 or 9 years. They can't get anywhere in the playoffs because their goaltending sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Plain and simple.
The old Miami Dolphins of the NHL with Danny Marino.
That's right. He's the guy that lost to Montana. I remember.
Yeah. And I mean, he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they put up all the points and they still lose.
Yeah. Well, they never built a defense for him. But anyhow, that's my take on a few of the teams right now. I think Boston's going to come back to the field a little bit this year. I think they're still going to be pretty good, but they're not nowhere going to be like they were last year in the regular season.
I disagree.
And I know this one kind of irks you a little bit. We got to jump on this right away too, because they're on that halo that you see behind me is actually Tampa and Buffalo. What's Tampa doing with Steven Stamkos?
Yeah.
What are they doing down there?
I don't know. That man deserves to be treated much better. I'd take him in a minute. I'd take him in a minute. I think Steven Stamkos shows just everything that you want in a hockey player. The guy's not afraid. He's not afraid to mix it up in the dirty areas. He's a leader. He's a goal scorer. He's a playmaker. I mean, he's a great hockey player. And to be disappointed, to have given everything you have to Tampa and to not have an updated.
Is this similar to the Mark Messier thing too? Think about it.
I mean, you could say that,
it's pretty similar. Where when Mark Messier left to go to the Vancouver Canucks from the Rangers because he was not happy with the Ranger offer from Neil Smith.
Right, he wasn't getting what he wanted.
So he bolted to Vancouver for $20 million over 2 years. Now Stamkos, I did see an interview of him that he was unhappy with what's going on there in Tampa right now when it comes to the contractual situation. I understand the ins and outs, the cap, and all this stuff, and you got to be careful of that stuff when you're a general manager these days. But would there really be a franchise left in Tampa if it wasn't for Steve Stamkos being drafted and placed there? We all know how hockey went in Florida until Florida became a good team last year. You could buy 5 tickets and get 50 free about 5 years ago. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, Paulie. Just throwing it out there.
Well, I mean, if I'm being honest, years ago, I heard so many Tampa fans, he's done, he's hurt too much, he's this, he's that. And boy, did he came back with screaming vengeance. And, I got to tell you, I mean, how you don't have this guy contracted up and, on your team, happy with a contract to say, hey, man, we love you. We know who you are. Let's get this behind us. I bet you Steven Stamkos isn't looking for $1 billion. I think he just wants to be happy in Tampa and feel appreciated. So, I don't know.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that 100%. I don't know if he wants top line money anymore, but maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But it just seems kind of odd, how you
right.
You as an organization, a team are even struggling to figure that one out.
Yeah.
On a player like him.
Yeah. Well, and don't get me wrong, they got a lot of talent on there. With Braden Point and
Yeah,
Kucherov.
I know, but they're also getting up there in age too. That's why I don't think they're going to be as good as they used to be, Paulie. These guys, and that includes Stamkos too. I hate to say it, but that includes him too. And Kucherov, and these guys are not 25 years old anymore.
Yeah, I still think they're very.
They're not. So, anyhow, I want to jump right into the Connor Bedard thing.
Go ahead.
When you draft a guy first overall, you can usually tell right away why they deserve to be first overall.
Usually you can.
You can. You can tell right away. I'm gonna say a few things here. It's gonna be attribute a little bit to the New York Ranger guys, but Connor Bedard when he's on the ice, you notice him. I've watched about 3 games of him so far this year, and obviously I watched a little bit of the World Juniors and all that stuff too. They have it. They have it right away, Paulie. You can tell. There's speed. There's elusiveness. There's hands. And there's skill. And all that combined makes them really explosive on the ice. Kind of like Jack Hughes. Although I will say Jack Hughes didn't show it his first year. But when you see him with the puck, everybody else on the ice looks slow. And with Connor Bedard, I don't think he's the fastest guy out there, but boy, oh boy, Paulie, you could just tell he's got it, eh? He's got what it takes to be considered a number 1 draft choice. Whereas, and I know this is a little negative, but when you looked at a guy like Alex Lafreniere, who obviously every scout in the league thought he was a number 1. Oh, Paulie D, Yangling. You look at a guy like Alex Lafreniere, and you wonder, like how he ended up being a number 1 overall. Was it because he was playing against kids still then, and then all of a sudden he shows up with the men, and things don't quite work out as well? Listen, I'm not down on Alex Lafreniere, but I think he has hands, Lafreniere. I think he has the head for the game, but he just doesn't have that elusiveness or that explosiveness that you get from those other guys I just mentioned. And Kakko is almost on the same boat. He does show some skills with the stick handling and being able to hold on to the puck, but where's that extra gear? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I think Connor Bedard has that, and I think Jack Hughes has that. Obviously, Connor McDavid has that. Austin Matthews, I can go through the league. McKinnon, these guys had that extra gear and that extra something to show why they are where they are in the league right now. And I love what Chicago is doing right now. Getting Connor Bedard has made Luke Richardson and the Chicago Blackhawks look really good so far this year. I watched their game last night against the Leafs. They played very, very well. They're young, they're fast, and trust me, they're a team coming.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny how getting a true star, I'll just say star, you could call him, you're a true number 1 pick, a true star, how quickly a franchise can turn around with a couple of ads here and there. So it, like you said too, you had spoken before, don't be surprised if the Detroits this year, Chicago this year. There's no gimmies anymore. There's a lot of teams that, I was very impressed last night with Phoenix. I thought they don't have a Connor McDavid. They don't have a Nathan McKinnon. They don't have a Panarin or a Zibanejad for that matter. Yet they have a lot of young talent that's willing, that is, they got speed, they got grit, and they're a determined bunch of players out there. I thought their passing was smart. Their power play goal, there was a lot to say about Phoenix last night. And like you said, that game could have been easily 2-1 the other way.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the Rangers obviously were able to capitalize when it mattered, but I looked at a team yesterday and I was very impressed. I was very impressed with their tenacity and their speed. I thought they were a pretty quick team. I thought their passing was good, but more so, I just thought they were a very determined hockey club. And you like you said, there's no more gimmicks, and I don't know where they're going to place this year, but that was an impressive win by the Rangers, but also an impressive display by a Phoenix club that there's no real big star there. So
you know what it comes down to, Paul, is the NHL has evolved to the point now where even your bottom feeders in the past, okay, like they may not make the playoffs and stuff like that, but when you really look at teams that are on the down and then start to rise, did they ever do what we did in my day? No, and I'm going to explain this to you. In my day, when I was in Hartford, for example, and trust me, Hartford fans, I love you guys the most. You guys are really good to me there. We surrounded our youth like the Ronnie Francises when he first came as an 18, 19-year-old. Myself, I was only 21, 22. You know what I mean? We brought in a bunch of guys whose careers were over in their mid-30s, early 30s, late 30s. The NHL doesn't do that anymore with the young teams, with the teams that are down at the bottom. They go with the youth. They build it the right way. Unfortunately, in my day, that's what we did. And it wasn't just the Hartford Whalers. There's a bunch of teams. When you were on the outside back then, I mean, how do you think the Pittsburgh Penguins got Mario Lemieux in the draft? You think they got it because they had a bunch of young studs on that team? No. We had a bunch of old guys that sucked, and that's why they were first pick overall.
Yeah.
Okay? And you look at today's what I call the bottom feeders, they're doing it right, Paulie. They're not adding, that many guys to the team. They might add one or two, but we had a bushel full of old guys coming to Hartford throughout my first 2 years. And by the time the third, fourth year came around, things changed a little bit. But you can't do that anymore. You can't just load up with a 37, 38, 35, 33-year-old veteran anymore and bring 4 or 5 of them to your team and then think that's going to be okay. It's just not. And that's what I see in Chicago. That's what I saw in Arizona last night. I think Detroit's done it the right way, too. One caveat, though, I will say, last night, Corey Perry, the 38-year-old, did score a goal for Chicago. They brought him in.
I am not a Perry fan at all.
Guy's a pain in the ass, but you know what? Teams love to have him on their team,
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he's a little on the edge, I think.
Well, yeah, he had a little scuffle with Reeves last night, believe it or not. He did.
Did Ryan Reeves throw him a beating?
Well, it was funny because something happened along the boards, and Perry was on his ass, on his back, and Reeves was on top of him, and Perry was throwing punches at him.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the other thing I want before we get away with the Leafs thing. Mark the date down the next time the Montreal Canadiens and the Leafs play.
Why? Oh yeah!
Oh
yeah!
That the big jolly giant there in Montreal. Jack Eye is his name, I think.
Yeah, they call him Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Oh my! Him and Reeves they're going to go at it, guaranteed. I'm not saying it's as big a promotion as the Ty Domi, Bobby Probert scrap at Madison Square Garden, but in Canada, it's going to be big when the next time those two play.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting one.
Because Reeves said it, if you want to fight, just ask me.
Yeah.
And I love Ryan Reeves, but he better be careful because that Jack guy's a big, tough dude. He's a big, tough boy.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun, man. That'll be fun.
That makes it interesting. The old rivalry, Toronto and Montreal, still live.
It'd be nice to actually have a real rivalry again. There's a couple of quick subjects I want to do.
All righty.
Of course, I'm going to go back into my rant on ESPN.
Here it comes again.
Man, you went from being the real hockey programming to the fucking worst place to watch hockey now, man. It's brutal. It's brutal. I think the play-by-play is terrible. I think the analysis is terrible. I just think I just scratch my head and I'm like, what the hell, man? The coverage isn't good. I don't believe the passion for the sport is really. I mean, it's beyond maybe two guys. What is it? Levy and Butchergrass.
Well, listen, before you rip them,
I know what you're
they're the only two guys that promote hockey on ESPN.
I know, that's my point.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's the point.
They're the only two.
You know what? I'm going to take a step back here for a minute, and I'm going to say, for the longest time, ESPN had Barry Melrose, and
it's sad to hear the news.
With the news on Barry. So our hearts and prayers and thoughts are with Melrose. I got to tell you, I've always liked Barry, his broadcast, his insight. It just seemed like a fun guy, what he did in California, and what an ambassador for hockey with ESPN, and they've come so far from that, I guess. But Barry Melrose, an inspiration, and to hear the news, we just wish him well. And
yeah, he coached me my last year on my way out of pro hockey in Glens Falls, Adirondack, and I got to know him pretty well. Very focused man when it comes to coaching. Treated me with a lot of respect and allowed me to do what I wanted to do my last year, which was not really play a lot. I told him, I said, I'm not trying to be an American League All-Star here in my early 30s. So
right.
He played me. I played when he needed me. You know what I mean? So I respect the man. I think he was a good coach. I think he proved that by going to the Stanley Cup with the LA Kings. I think they would have won the Stanley Cup had somebody not had a curved stick with 2 minutes to go in that second game, because then they would have been up 2-0, and then they would go to LA, and I don't think Montreal's going to win 4 straight like they did.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's just me. But I hope Barry. I wish the best for him. He's a good man.
Yeah. So I'm going to lay off ESPN in respect to Barry. Just don't feel like the programming is once what it was. I think it really.
Well, I think they're trying to be too. They're trying to be
woke.
I think all of them are trying to be too woke and too cute now.
Yeah.
They are. They just are. Let's call it what it is. And, that's the problem that's the problem we have today. Is we don't have enough people calling anything out when it comes to what they feel becomes a woke joke.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening with all sports today and all entertainment. So, I honestly don't pay attention to the guys talking anymore. You know what I mean? I used to have a big satellite back in the day, Paulie, when I was playing. A huge that big 20-foot satellite sitting on top of the house. I used to be able to get backhaul feeds. You know what backhaul feeds were? No sound from the commentators, no nothing. It was great. It was like being at a real hockey game.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it for the youth today because that's what they're used to. But I think the real hardcore hockey fan gets a little tired of everything going a little soft and a little wokey.
You had the real satellite dish in the yard.
And I was stealing it too. I didn't pay shit. So down here, I pay for it on my DirecTV because it's down here they penalize you big time. Up in Canada, they don't care.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Well, let me continue my bashing.
What do you got next? Come on.
I gotta tell you, I've watched a few games this year.
Okay.
The officiating gets worse and
Oh,
worse and worse and worse and worse. The other night, the Columbus game, what a typical 3 goals came back in that game.
well, 2 goals came back. 1 goal did not cross the line. Truba saved that one.
Right, but they called it a goal, so he
I
said,
don't care. He saved that one. They got that one right. Yeah, they got the other 2 right. But it does. It's a horseshit way to watch a hockey game now.
well, and when I say the officiating's horrible, what I'm saying is they didn't get it right. They needed replay. I mean, I knew Lafreniere was offsides when I saw it.
So
I'm like,
did I.
what fucking body's in the fucking zone and the puck's outside?
All
What?
he-
Why
that-
did you blow the whistle right then?
That big 85-inch screen back there doesn't lie.
Offside. What the fuck? So,
I agree. We knew
and
it.
that's what I mean by bad officiating. I mean that should have never went to review. I seen it, like I seen it in live as it was playing. Regardless of the fact,
It's almost a stupid rule.
I just think
I got to stop you though. Think about this for a second. They didn't get it right live. What if you and I were out there as defense partners on the defensive side of that situation? You pass the puck to me, I pass the puck to you, we pass him up to the center, he gets it stolen just inside the blue line, and then they score. Can you know what I'm saying? Well, now what? Are you still going to be able to say it was offside to start with? while the team that's calling for the replay had the puck 3-4 times already?
yeah,
It's a contradiction. So I don't know. They got it right though. They got it right.
No, I know. I just think that they have to do a better job. And on the flip side of that, I've seen some calls that have been, I mean, I think at this point you can't. We're never going to win this battle with the officiating.
No, because every year something changes. Everything you're right. Every year they change something.
Now I did read, and there was 2 things that I wanted to talk about rules wise, and this is just a couple of things that I had read. I know there has been discussions on having to defend yourself after a clean hit. I know you want to talk about that. Give me 1 second. We'll go back to that.
You go ahead.
And then there's another discussion about what we should see more penalty shots this year than ever before. So, and I had read 2 different articles. One of them, I believe, what's his name? Dave Jackson. Dave Jackson was commenting in game in one of the games that were played about you should see more calls for penalty shots when shots are not allowed to be taken, and it doesn't matter if there's 2 or 3 defenders back. It doesn't matter anymore if you have a clear breakaway. If the official feels as if a goal scoring chance has been denied the player, regardless, it's not the traditional, he's on a breakaway, he's going to get a breakaway shot. That's not necessarily what's going to happen. You can see 2 defenders behind. If they take the guy's feet out or whatever, and he's got a clear shot towards the net, they're going to start calling those penalty shots.
But that's nothing different. I mean, I don't know what Jackson's talking about. It's nothing different back in my day. If you pulled out a guy that's getting ready to score or shoot on a breakaway, it was always a penalty shot. What I don't like, okay, is last night's call on Goodrow. I believe it was Goodrow. Okay, that gave Tucker the penalty shot. Live, it looked like shit. Okay, it looked like he really did something. But when you looked at it on replay, hey, Zucker, stand up and be a man for Christ's sake. You flop like a pig. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't agree with this stuff that Jackson and the NHL does. I'm tired of it because they've been trying to, since you and I started doing the show, not on a podcast, but whatever, Blog Talk Radio, you and I have been talking about this. I don't know, what is it, a decade or more now?
Yeah.
They keep trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to scoring.
Yeah. Yep.
Can you just let the players play and stop trying this bullshit? I saw so far this first 2 weeks of hockey, I've seen what they call today slashing calls that wouldn't break a pane of glass. Okay?
Yeah.
A 3-year-old wouldn't even feel it. I've seen hooking calls that even a 6-ounce catfish or a sunfish wouldn't even pull on. You know what I'm trying to say here? They're just trying too hard again. And it seems to happen early in the season, year after year after year after year. And then by the time we get to the playoffs, all of a sudden those calls go away. How come? How come?
I wish you could tell you.
It's garbage. Hey, Matt, how you doing? You're a little late, big boy.
What's up, Matty?
But it's just, I'd rather see players like be a man and play through that stuff, Paulie. What's obvious is obvious. What's not obvious should not be called. If I whack you over the head with a stick, that should be called. That should get suspended. If I break my stick over your hand, okay, that should be called. If I slash so hard that the puck goes flying off your stick to the other side of the ice, okay, call that. But now what we got, and I saw Adam Fox do it the other night too. A Ranger player kind of got hooked inside the blue line, and Foxy's about 8 feet behind him, and he's got his hand up in the air looking like, hey, did you see that?
Yeah.
Stop this bullshit. Start playing hockey like the way it's meant to be. I'm really tired of this crap. I am. I'm tired. I can't stand it anymore. Yeah, I'm that old guy sitting on a park bench now with Mike Kane, you know. I'm that old curmudgeon, now that I thought I'd never be, but I am now. It's just bullshit, Paulie. Like what's called and what's not called and what's supposed to be called, what's not supposed to be called. They just keep confusing the fans, they confuse the referees, and they confuse the players. Nobody knows what the hell's going on anymore. And I'm just wondering why all these board of governors get into that vacation that they have in West Palm every year and have a little meeting and start thinking of this crap again.
Right.
Let them play hockey. Let them play hockey.
I mean, we can argue about officiating all day long, but I tell you, I just, like you said, I think it's gotten softer and softer and softer and softer. And you're going to see more and more tried. Like I said, you're going to see a lot more power plays, and they want to bring that power play versus penalty kill back up, and how else to do it. But when I was expressing the situation with breakaways, I mean penalty shots. I mean, if you saw one penalty shot every 20 games, 30 games.
I had one again today. You're right, Couturier, Philadelphia.
I'm telling you, they've said it. They're going to call more penalty shots.
Wonderful.
So, I think they've broadened the regulation and what a penalty, where they're going to call penalty shots. As far as around the league, that's about
not a good thing. I don't care what anybody says. Not a good thing.
You're good.
You just froze a little there, big boy. But
you froze on me too. So I don't.
What else? All right.
It's freeze frame.
Jay Galsman.
Yeah. So.
Oh, did we talk about, or am I repeating myself about the hits?
No. What hits?
Well, the retaliation after hits all the time.
Oh, yes, that's where I was going next.
All right, you lead it.
It was in my notes. So there was a discussion, and I know you're in favor of this. And for you to be in favor of any rule, it's worthy for everyone to listen to. Defending yourself after a legal hit. There's been talk around the league many, many times. every time a guy lays a clean body check or whatever kind of check, uh, that if he knocks someone out or whatever the case may be, the players constantly having to defend themselves for a clean body check or a hit. There is discussion along the board of governors to enforce a new rule of an automatic game misconduct to anyone initiating or instigating a fight after a clean hit on a player. And I actually like that rule. I think you do too. You get thrown out of the game. You can't have a guy shouldn't have to defend himself for playing with inside the rules. If it's a bad hit, I get it. But if it's a clean hit, and we could talk all day about Jacob Trouba last year, how many times he threw a beautiful hit and had to defend himself. And there's other players out there that every time they throw a hit, they got to defend themselves. Well, Board of Governors have discussed it, and I believe it's going to be put into play maybe next year. I don't believe you'll see it this year. They might call. The officiating will have discussions, and there'll be authority to feel as though to start to call that to make the players understand that if you engage or try to engage with somebody, that there's going to be a lot of misconducts thrown 10-minute misconduct, game misconducts, extra penalties, all kinds of stuff to try to instill the enforcement of the new rule, which you'll probably see in 24-25.
Well, the only reason why I'm in agreement with that is because it's gotten very comedic to me. Okay, over the years now, watching a guy get the opportunity to lay a good, clean, hard body check because some guy's got his head down or some guy's not aware of who's on the ice, and all of a sudden that guy has to turn around and defend himself against one guy, maybe two guys coming at him. Believe it or not, Paulie, I know a lot of people don't know much about me when I played. I averaged one of those hits a game or more. I don't even remember one time having to defend myself and drop the gloves immediately.
Right.
Somebody. I think the only time I remember was up in Calgary. It was in overtime back then. And Paul Reinhart was a pretty good, one of the top offensive defensemen in the league back then, was coming up the boards in their end, and I pinched in and I flattened them. Okay? And after the whistle, Tim Hunter, Lanny McDonald, and a couple other guys were coming after me, and I had to back up a little bit. Just, hey, guys, it was a clean fucking hit. Get over it. You know what I mean? But today, I'm so tired of seeing it. I never thought I'd agree with it, but I think they should put that rule in to stop these idiots from doing that. Yeah. Now, once that's been said, you give them a benefit of a doubt for a year. Learn how not to jump a guy after a clean hit, or rather take the body checking out of the game. One of the two.
Yeah.
Which one you want to do, guys? You want to play like a women's league with no hitting, or you want? I mean, it just makes no sense.
Yeah.
If you hit Connor Bedard, yes, you get it. You get taken care of. Okay. You hit Wayne Gretzky, you got taken care of. You hit Chris Katsopoulos, nobody stuck up for me. This is part of the game. It's just so stupid. It's such a stupid thing that I see now. Automatically, you gotta turn and go after that guy. It's just the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Right.
You know? And I'll go even further. More than 3/4 of guys that actually do try to fight that guy that made the hit, they can't fight. None of them.
That's funny. That's funny.
Well, it's true.
All right. Wow, we've burnt a lot of oxygen here, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just. I want the game to get better, but when you got soft rules about slashing, hooking, body checking, all that crap, it just takes away from the game. I've seen guys like Connor McDavid. I've seen guys like Austin Matthews. I've seen McKinnon. I've seen Jack Hughes go through a little bit of a gauntlet to make great scoring plays. They weren't called. Let the guys play a little bit, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
All right. How about Ranger time? Let's talk Rangers, though, deep down here now, Paulie. We're getting close to the 9:30 mark. There it is.
New topic. Let's go Rangers. Let's go Rangers.
What are you thinking so far?
Well, I got to start with this. I was not a fan at first. Or let me try. Let me go back here. I really didn't know how it was going to work with Laviolette. So I'm going to start with. Man, what do I want to start with? I tell you, there's three components I want to talk about with the Rangers. I'm going to start with this one because it's here. Laviolette's system, known as the left wing lock, the 1-3-1. I got to tell you, on the defensive side, I think this really benefits this team for a couple of reasons. I know we talked about it. I'll just go through this real quick for everyone. I like the clogging of the neutral zone because it forces teams to have to dump the puck, which in turn, with a guy like Igor Shesterkin, who can play the puck so well, who can pass the puck and move the puck better than probably any goalie in the league right now, really helps break up plays and move the puck. You know, teams, it's hard to really gain the zone. It's hard to gain the blue line when you got three guys standing up there. It's really tough, especially in this day and age. And most times they try to get as close to the blue line, dump the puck in. If it wraps around the boards, you know, Igor's the guy who can move it. I like this system defensively for the Rangers, for Igor Shesterkin, for a much better defensive coverage. I think with this team, I think it keeps them. I think it helps their mind understand where they need to be defensively. Last year, we talked about how bad they were defensively, how Igor would make point-blank stops, you know, inside the hash marks, on top of the circle, breakaways, all kinds of things that Igor had to do. And I think this year that is going to be very limited with this style and with the defensive responsibility. Couple of other ideas that I want to talk about. Igor last night did his job. You know, he makes the Rangers look great sometimes. But I will say, and then I'll let you bring in a couple of your thoughts here, is this kid, Will Cooley, he belongs, man.
Yes, he does.
He
does.
With the puck. He's very smart with the puck. He takes the body well. He's got good hockey sense. You can see it in him. He's positioned well. You know, he's gutsy. He drives to the net. He uses his body well. He's got hands. I am so impressed with this kid, man. And I just can't wait to watch him come into his own and his confidence build. Because I think the New York Rangers have got a mix between, and forgive me for my old analogies and my new analogies, but they have a mixture of, if you were going to mix Chris Kreider's skill and a little bit of Adam Graves' old power forward grit. I think that's what you got here. I think you got like an up-and-coming new today power forward, if you would. That's what I see in Will Cooley.
Well, I love Will Cooley. I remember I was talking about him a year ago. You know, that he'll pan out. And I will mention this too. Even though he didn't make the squad this year, I thought Brennan Hoffman probably should have, in my opinion. But he started out very well in Hartford. 2 goals, 1 assist already in his first. I think he scored in his first game. So I got a feeling you might see him up by Christmas time. But I totally agree with you. Look, there's a couple of things here with the Laviolette hiring and you're talking about the 1-3-1 and the left wing lock. I mean, all that crap. That means nothing to me. I don't understand why an NHL player doesn't understand defensive responsibilities. You and I talked about that pre-show. But that being said, this is what they've been told to do. They got to do it. Now, Laviolette obviously has the experience as a head coach. He's been pretty successful everywhere he's gone. He's got a Stanley Cup under his belt, although that's a long, long time ago. But he still has the experience. Now, here's the point that I'm trying to get through. The core of this team, and we know who the core is. Core is Panarin. Core is Zibanejad. Kreider. Fox. Lindgren. I mean, I can name a couple others, but these guys have all been around for the last three coaches, including Laviolette. Some of them have been around when they were in the Stanley Cup against the Kings. Okay? Not all of them, but some of them. It's time to put up or shut up. You've run through three coaches. Weren't happy with the way they coached you. You didn't like the way Gallant approached things. This is all the stuff, the feedback you read about from the players. You didn't like the way Quinn approached things. Now you got Pete Laviolette, who's got a little bit more experience than even Gerard Gallant did. So now you have a system. You better live by it. And don't complain about it. I don't want to hear anybody complain about it. I don't want anybody sitting there saying that now it's taken away from my offensive game. This is the system that's been installed. Do it. And do it to the best that you possibly can. Your scoring opportunities will still be there. And you're right, Paulie. You know, with Shesterkin, I mean, the guy makes like unbelievable saves when they play ragged hockey in their own zone. If they played smart, disciplined hockey, it'll make it even easier for him to make saves when the opportunity arises. Getting down to some of the players and stuff now. Okay, I think the addition of Bonino was a good thing. I think he serves well as a fourth liner. He's killing penalties, pretty damn good for the Rangers. He's blocked a lot of shots. He's good on the forecheck. Wheeler, we're going to have to wait a little bit and see if he's still got it at the age of 37, 30. Well, I get it, what everybody's saying. You're going to have to wait and see, but, you know, you got to remember this, too. He is up there in age, but he is also not getting first, second line ice time either. So if you're expecting this guy to score a ton of goals with 7 to 10 minutes of playing time a night, not going to happen. So, but if it doesn't work out, that's where a guy like Othman is in the offering coming up by September. There's another guy down there in Hartford that he's been up and down like a yo-yo for the Rangers for a long time that I still think could be a good fourth liner. Johnny Brzezinski. He's never played bad when he's been here.
Yeah.
And he's a little bit of an aggressive guy. And he actually creates a little bit of offense. So I'm just throwing that out there when it comes to maybe helping out that fourth line down the road somewhere. The way the season has started so far, it is the core that's leading the way when it comes to the offense again. Chris Kreider, Zibanejad with the assists, and Panarin with the goals and the assists, and Adam Fox obviously with the helpers. We got to get more out of Kakko. We got to get more out of Lafreniere. Like it or not, I think this is their last kick at the can, and that includes your boy Hedl. I think that line of Hedl, Panarin, and Lafreniere has played pretty damn good so far, but it's still not. They've created a lot of opportunities. Okay,
I like it for Panarin.
I will give it that, and I think you made a good point to me when we talked last week. It forces Panarin to shoot the puck more instead of passing. Although he still likes to make them dumb passes cross ice every now and then, but that you got to live with that. If I'm a defenseman and he's out there making cross ice passes, I'm outside the blue line. I'm back at center ice just in case.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I do like that line. I like that line. I like what it does for Panarin. I think it forces Panarin to shoot more. And I feel like that line is going north-south a lot more than Panarin would. I mean, the East-West play from last year to this year is fucking almost non-existent. to this point, from what I've seen. So I'm so happy to say that too, because I felt like all they relied on was the East-West last year, and it's pretty, boy. But oh my God, their turnovers and everything else. That line, I think we're gonna get more out of Laffy. I think we're gonna get more out of Heedle, and I think it brings the pressure for Panarin to say, okay, I got to do more here when I have the puck at making opportunities, because I know these guys are going to the net. He's not looking to pass like he was to someone else. He's looking to shoot. He did that last night on the power play. Trocheck with a beautiful deflection. You got two guys in front. It just looks different for me. And I think if you force Panarin to shoot the fucking hockey puck, I think it helps guys like Heedle and Lafreniere collect garbage goals, collect the opportunities, because now teams are going to be looking at Panarin. Is he going to shoot? So
well, again, I think we talked about this last week, on the phone or whatever. And if I'm Lafreniere right now, obviously you got a lot of weight on your shoulders being the number one guy overall, and people, harping about not living up to your expectations, and you got to be honest, he hasn't. But if I'm him right now, I mean, he's got a great hockey sense, and he does have pretty good hands. Okay, he might be a little slower than you'd want out of a first overall when it comes to speed wise. But if you're playing on a line with Heedle and Panarin right now, damn, you got to go to the net.
Yeah.
You got to go to the net, because I'll be blunt about it right now. Lafreniere has better hands than Chris Kreider. Okay? And yet Chris Kreider manages to score 52 goals one year, manages to score 30 goals almost every year now.
Yeah.
How does he do that? Oh, that's right. He goes to the net. So when you got a guy like Panarin who can handle a puck, you got a guy like Heedle, and again, I'm not ripping Heedle. He's got some skill, no question about it, and he likes to shoot the puck. Go to the net, Laffy. Go to the net. Find the open spot around the crease. There's going to be a puck coming to you one way or the other, on a pass or a rebound. But if you're just going to stay out on the perimeter thinking you're going to get your stuff, not going to happen. Same thing with Kaapo Kakko. He every game he gets the puck, and he does a whole rotation around the net up to the blue line and back, but nothing ever comes from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does anything ever come from it? It looks good, but nothing ever comes from it. Figure out how. You're not going to be able to do what you did as a junior. That's already been proven. Figure out how to create. Try something different than what you're used to since you put on a pair of skates.
Right.
When it comes to the offensive zone. I don't think Peter Laviolette has any kind of system when it comes to the offensive zone. You understand what I'm saying? When you have the puck. So that's my feeling. I'm still hoping for these guys. And yes, as much as I would have traded Heedle years ago, I'm hoping for him too, because if he does well, the team does well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this one in there. Keandre Miller, will always be a very good hockey player if he continues the way he plays now. Until he learns how to have a mean streak, he will never reach the top echelon. I've been saying this for years. You're 6'4" or 5, you're 215, 20 pounds. Show a mean streak that lets people know that you're not to be messed with. You're not going to forecheck me hard. You're not going to come at me as hard as you do. And then your skill set will be fantastic. It'll get even better. But until that happens, he'll be just a very good hockey player. That's it. That's all I got for you on the Rangers right now. You can't complain with what they've done so far. The game in Columbus was a screwed up anomaly type game with the disallowed goals and all this stuff. I think, as my friend Mr. Dimtro, who all goes by an alias all the time on our thing, they're not tough enough. Who is these days? Who is anymore? Think about it. If the Rangers need toughness this year, they've got a couple guys. They got Harper to bring up, and they also got that Rempe, sorry. Rempe proved with Johnson in that preseason game that if we need to put a guy in the lineup to take on their guy, because it's an eventual meeting of the two, we have them. So I don't know about the toughness part anymore. The game is changing. I still think you need the grinders. I still think you need the body checkers, but there you go. The absolute guy that sits on the bench and you tap on the shoulder anymore, that's gone. It's a bygone day.
Wait a minute. I hear something.
They set it up, and they've carried through. Two big guys going at it, boy. This is a big guy battle. Wow. An advantage for the Rangers.
Look, he didn't look bad. He didn't look bad in preseason either.
How about that big boy?
The man could skate. He forechecked. He created a few opportunities offensively, and he hit. And he stood up to one of the toughest guys in the league and did well.
Absolutely.
In fact, I give him the edge in that fight. Slight edge, but he won that fight.
I would too. I loved him. I was very disappointed to hear he was going back down. But with that being said, I don't disagree with you. I think I listen. I would love for this team to have a bona fide guy that could play the game and take care of business. That guy, unfortunately, is probably Jacob Trouba is the only guy. After that, I will tell you this. What? Go ahead.
Schneider's got to pick up his physical play.
I would disagree with you. I don't know what's going on there. We talked about it late last year, how his game we felt was getting
the physical part of the game.
Yeah, was getting a little softer than what we were used to with him because when he came in like a lion, and then it seemed like he just calmed down a little bit. So hopefully that changes. But I will tell you this. You talked about Blake Wheeler. On paper, it looked smart. I get it. You got him, for a song. I get it. He brings a lot of different elements. I get it. I think he's stealing a spot right now, personally, for a guy like Rempe or Ottman. But I will tell you this. Originally, you had said Bonino. Bonino's winning faceoffs. He's killing penalties. He's blocking shots. I agree. Last night, I was impressed. I liked Pitlick's game last night, especially for the limited amount. Yeah, I thought he played hard last night. I thought he took the body good last night. He's a big kid, too.
Well, I told you that. You didn't think he was as big as I told you. Yeah.
I didn't know he's as big as he is. He's a big boy. He's at that 215 range. What do you got? You got the boss man?
Here's the boss man.
What's up, Bumpy?
Come here, boss man.
He's a good boy.
Here's the killer.
There's Satan.
The killer.
That's Satan. There's Satan and boss. That dog, when I was there, wanted to eat me. Piece by piece, that dog wanted to eat me. Boss.
Oh, she's a sweet little angel. You know that.
Oh, yeah, angel. Yeah.
Get back to bed, will you?
Yeah. She's evil, bro. It's fucking cat. Nobody wants a fucking 225-pound dog wanting to eat them. Okay? Me and the dog weigh about the same, for crying out loud. I will tell you, I thought Pitlick's game was good last night. And I got to tell you, I am a VC fan. I like Jimmy VC. I like what he brings.
Yeah, I do too.
Fourth line, third line. I like his speed. I think Jimmy VC's got hands. He's been around the league. I like Jimmy VC. So I was disappointed to see Pitlick last night. And then I was pleasantly surprised with his game last night. So if he can play physically the way that he had last night, last night, he's going to make it interesting to keep him out of the lineup. So,
listen, if Pitlick doesn't play the way he played last night, he'll be out of a job.
yeah.
He's got to play physical. He's got to play hard. He's got to stick his nose in the corner. He's got to forecheck, aggressively. And I think at times in preseason I saw that he had a little bit of hands. He's got ability, to shoot the puck and maybe score a goal here and there. But that's how he stays on the team.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to, I told you this for many years. Pitlick would love to take Panarin's spot if he had the ability.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
You don't understand what I'm saying? I would have loved to have been Bobby Orr, but I just didn't have that ability. You understand? So you got to learn where to fit in. When they already got jobs that are sewn up at the top part of your team. So a guy like Pitlick, if he wants to stick around, he's going to have to play like that every night, Paul. A guy like VC, same thing. All those guys that are on the fourth line, third line, they have to play a certain way.
Yeah.
Or else they're replaceable.
Well, when do you think the jury's going to be out with Blake Wheeler? When do you think that happens? You think?
I don't think it's going to be for a while. So I figure another month and a half. You got to give him some time. I mean, like last I looked, he's got 0 points, but Filipino's got 1 assist.
No,
I'm just giving you. I'm giving you all this stuff here. You know what I mean? Like you can't make a decision after 3 games.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is I want to see. I guess I want to see how long Blake Wheeler's going to stay in the lineup. I think there's other players that command the roster.
Well, I think listen. It's all going to come down to where they are in the standings too. If things are going well, the way the lineup is now, it's not going to change very much, Paulie, regardless of production by your third and fourth liners. That's just the way it is. Now, I know you kind of like last week. I brought it up to you, but I still think there's a Patrick Kane signing in the end.
Whoa, buddy!
I'm throwing that out there to you guys.
You think that's a deadline signing?
Well, you think about it. He hasn't started the season. Obviously, he's gone through, got the operation. Apparently, he's working out, doing well. Apparently, okay, by all things, which everybody would do when they're trying to get a job. But it's not going to cost a lot to get him. And I think there's going to be at least 3 or 4 teams that are interested. And from what I read, one of those teams is the New York Rangers.
Yeah.
Now, the only reason why I'm bringing this up, this might have been the reason why they didn't re-sign Tarasenko. Think about that. They had cap problems. I'm giving you all kinds of I'm mixing the witch's brew up here.
Well, I don't disagree. I think we talked about it. I think Patrick Kane has been a discussion. Now, whether or not, that was the judgment call into following up with, Tarasenko or whatnot, between the cap and everything else. Patrick Kane to this squad later on in the year, who knows?
I'm just throwing it out there. Like I think there's room for him on the team from the midway point of the season on. That's what I'm saying.
I think that Drury's patience this year is going to be different than what it was last year. And I think his patience is going to be shorter. I think there's the expectation of this team to succeed and to succeed now. And I think, the players that you've discussed as far as the Heedles and the Kakos are going to be names tossed around if they're not producing and creating an atmosphere that starts to buzz for the New York Rangers. I really do feel that way. I think especially Hedel, he's got a decent contract that's movable. The guy, he is a movable player. And they're going to have to create some type of room to bring in a guy like Patrick Kane.
You know what? I disagree with you. I don't think Patrick Kane's going to be asking for an arm and a leg.
No,
I don't.
I don't think so either. But I think that for them to bring on a player like Kane, I think they're going to have to do something.
He's going to be a free agent though, Paul. That's the key. There's no trade here.
Sure, I get that, but I think they're going to have to make room. And the other part, I don't think.
You're saying if he's healthy, he'd be a good addition. Except the expectations this time should not be him being on the top line, second line. Yeah. People, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don't have him automatically penciled in to be next to Zibanejad, and Panarin and taking Kreider off the ice on a power play.
Right.
Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Unless you put him on the point like you did last year with Fox. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm just throwing that out there. That he's a possibility that, if the things go right and the defensive style works and you need to add a little bit of you got two choices in my mind right now. You bring up Othman somewhere along the line or you sign Patrick Kane. That's it.
Interesting stuff. All right. Well, I've had enough.
And bring Rempe up when they play Tom Wilson.
Love this kid. Love him. Love him. I thought he had a good preseason too.
I did too. I'm you know me. I'm a little wild and a little lunatic when it comes to what I would have picked. I would have given Othman and Rempe a shot this year right off the bat. I don't care. You got guys already sitting out. If you have to sit on somebody to give these guys a shot, that's me though. That's just me. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, but I would have given them a shot. I think Rempe showed me. I thought. I've seen his fights on Hockey Fights, and he usually does pretty good. Doesn't lose too many. But when I actually watched him play at the NHL level in preseason, here's what I expected out of a 6'7" guy. And nobody can deny this. Zdeno Chara looked like shit his first year or two. He looked like a brand new born giraffe that could barely skate. Okay? Rempe could skate.
Yeah.
He showed it this preseason. I thought I was going to see a big, awkward, plodding, not really well-balanced guy. No, I did not see that. I saw a guy that skates very well, skates very strong, could handle a fucking biscuit pretty decent, and can drop the gloves with the best of them. He proved it with Johnson.
Yeah.
Will he do it? Will he knock out? Will he fight everybody in the league and win? Who knows? But he's there, and the other team will know he's there. So I'm hoping somewhere down the line.
Yeah. The other guy, the odd man out that really upsetted me, defensively especially, was Harker. I don't know. I think we talked about it, and again, I was going to cut the show, but we talked about Zach Jones. I think you're 100% right. Obviously, they didn't want to send him down because they would consider probably losing him on waivers.
Yeah.
But I don't see the need for Zach Jones as a New York Ranger currently with the current roster. You don't need.
Unfortunately, I agree. He's not a bad hockey player.
No. You have enough small puck-moving defensemen now.
Yeah, exactly.
You got Fox. Gustafson has played pretty good. I love Lindgren. I do. I love his heart.
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
I honestly, this year is the year. I don't know that he's going to last very long this year, Cots. He's already been
a different team when he's in the lineup. You know that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, he's got the heart of a champion, but I just don't know now physically he's going to be able to go too much longer. And be able to play the way he plays. So,
that's his style. I mean, you live and die with it. And the thing I like about Lindgren is not only what he is, he's also a little bit of a shit disturber and gets under the other team's skin.
Sure.
And we don't have a lot of guys like that.
Sure.
He does. He creates like tension on the other team.
I love the cross track he threw in front of Igor last night. I was very appreciative of it.
Well, yeah.
You know, I like that.
That was a common thing in our day, in my
Oh,
day.
you know.
I'm surprised he didn't get a penalty.
I know. So it's good stuff. Well, I think maybe Tuesday next week probably works. I don't know if I can do Monday or Tuesday next week. So,
well, just let everybody know how they can rewatch the show on YouTube. And
it's very easy.
Well, you gotta let people know that.
Actually, what we're going to start doing is we're going to start reposting our show on the Instigators Hockey Show in Facebook.
Okay.
So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to take this and just link it right to that page. People can watch it afterwards. And then obviously, you just search the Instigators Hockey Show on YouTube. It comes right up.
How can you not want one of these guys? Come on, look at that shirt. Think about it, people. Come on. They are available for sale. Like we have to go to. Is it available on the Instigators Show Facebook, or do we have to go to the? I have it on my website. My website, chriskatsopoulos.com, has a bunch of stuff with me, but it also has these shirts on them. If you want to buy one, don't be afraid. Okay. And Paulie said at the beginning, we're going to get guests on. I think our first guest, I'm going to do a little bit of a drum roll here, and one of them, I'm not going to name him, but he's going to come on not next week, but maybe the week after. One of the greatest Rangers of all time.
Ha!
Will be coming on.
That'll be fun.
And I'm going to reach out to guys that I promised to be on a couple of years ago when it came through. So shame on me. But we're gonna get guys on that were the heart and soul of the NHL. I'm not looking for the squishy squashy guys. I'm looking for the guys that were the guts and strength of the NHL that are going to come on. Some old teammates of mine, and when you come on, you're going to enjoy listening to their stories. That's for sure.
I love stories.
We're going to get some good ones too. Trust me.
We get some good ones. We get some good stories, and like as always, we're going to turn on the red light. All right.
And remember this guy. Scratching his head again, as always.
That's code name Pan Face. What'd you call him? Pan Face?
Frying pan face.
Frying Pan Face. That's what he goes by. That's it. Oh, and Biz Shitty. All right. I've had too much fun for one night. What a good show. Good time. Let's go Rangers. We love the Ranger fans. We are the Ranger fans. So, with that, it's going to be a good season, I think, this year. I'm feeling good about it. So, good stuff. Guys, make sure you check us out on Facebook. The Instigators Hockey Show. If you're not on it, get on it. Beth will log you in. She'll accept you. She's the administrator along with myself. And this is the other place where we're going to be putting the podcast. So hope you enjoy it. We'll see you.
Get your damn T-shirts on chriskatsopoulos.com.
Great Christmas. Christmas is coming. Great Christmas present. I still never got the freaking Christmas balls.
It's Halloween. Why are you talking about Christmas?
I know. I'm just telling you. This is a great Christmas present. Buy them now.
It's a great Halloween present, too.
Oh, buddy. Look, I don't know if you could see it. Wait, let me shrink the camera. You can probably see when I do this. I think it's over my right shoulder. You
There
see?
it is. There it is.
There it is.
The mask.
The mask. It's in here. I still got to finish this room, man. Got a little more to do. I'm going to get this.
Listen, a little less partying and a little more work at home.
You know what? to live life too, man.
Wait, remember, you're getting up there in age, big boy. You better get the partying done soon. Soon you'll just be coming home after work every day, just lounging in your chair until you fall asleep for the next day.
Yeah, what do you mean soon? Anyway.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to be 65 in November.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to be officially one of them old fogies.
Nah, you take good care of yourself. You're all right, man.
I try.
Not
bad for a fat guy, just not obese. I'm not obese. I'm fat. That's all it is.
You're a big dude, period. You're a big man.
We got to get Yangling to sponsor our show.
Yeah, we do. All right, for Kati and Paulie D, the Instigators show, we out, dogs. All right, we'll see you in a week. Probably Tuesday night, if I had a guess. All right. So, with that being said,